Yo, good morning, my friends. Welcome back from the weekend, and hopefully you guys had a wonderful Father's Day. For those of you celebrating it, you're either dads, you have dads, you had dads, one of those things. Either way, hopefully it was nice. Glad to be back. We got a 7-gamer today, and I'm looking forward to it. I will say, yesterday, my wife had talked to one of her friends, and I'm buddies with her friend's husband, and they've got kids our age. We went to thanks, Stephen. We went to the Lehigh Valley Iron Pigs game. Now, where I live, Upper Bucks County, to get to a Phillies game, it takes like an hour and a half, even though it shouldn't. It's just, if there were no traffic, I'd be there in under an hour. I used to live a lot closer. We went to this. Took us 40 minutes to get there. This is the Phillies AAA affiliate, by the way. AAA team. Andrew Painter was on the mound, who's like the best guy in their pipeline. He tosses a gem. Any of you guys out there who have kids, younger kids, right? I highly suggest, I don't know what your AAA affiliates, how close your AAA teams are to you. What an amazing family-friendly experience. I would go there. I would legitimately go there over a Phillies game with my kids and family any day of the week. It was awesome. It was really cool. So yeah, highly recommend that if you haven't done so, if you've never done that. They got the win, but like we're sitting out on the lawn. The kids are playing. There was an hour and 40-minute rain delay. Didn't matter. They're out there playing in the rain, getting soaked. Better than a Phillies game for young kids. I'll tell you that right now. So if you're anywhere near the area, it only took me 40 minutes to get there. Highly recommend it. First time I've ever been to one of those games, and it was a really cool experience. Far more kid-friendly than a Phillies game that has like 42,000 people in there on any given day. But anyway, I prefer going to AAA. So much fun with the locals. It was awesome, dude. Making friends there, Oh, and also the beer and the food is all of the same, so much of the same beer and food and a fraction of the cost. Literally got out of the parking lot like I was leaving the mall. I can't say enough good things about it. I can't say enough. Nothing worse than getting stuck in a parking lot with kids leaving a game for an hour. Miserable experience. Yeah. So I recommend it. But anyway, we got some baseball to talk about. Glad you guys could join me. Hopefully, again, you had a great weekend. And if you do not mind this fine morning, take a single second, hit that thumbs up. Atone for your sins. What are we at? We're at 6? 6? No, it's got to be better. We got to be north of that. 17. All right. We'll get there. People will trickle in. I understand it's an NBA slate as well. Game 5 of the NBA Finals. Soon this will be the only show in town, and I hope you stick around for it. But anyway, hit that thumbs up. Subscribe to the channel. Leave a comment down below if you're watching or listening after the fact. Goes a long way. I appreciate you guys for it. Otherwise, I wouldn't ask. But yeah, 7 games today. Interesting slate because you have good pitchers, not all of them in great matchups, but good pitchers, and then some okay pitchers in great matchups. These slates are always kind of weird like that, right? Where you've got these great pitchers, some of whom, maybe some limitations, like Logan Gilbert coming off of the IR for the first time, pitching with the Mariners for the first time since late April, right? Dylan Cease coming off an incredible start against the same Dodgers team he's facing tonight, except this one's in LA and not in San Diego. And then you've got guys like Pepio against Baltimore. Not a great park. Baltimore has been playing better for sure. Offensively, they're beginning to click a little bit more than they were earlier in the year, but Pepio's been good too. And then what do you do with a guy like Lucas Giolito, who's got the best park upgrade you could find among any pitcher going today, except he's Lucas Giolito. And then Jake Irvin against Colorado, but he's 8,100. So, let's do it. Marquis watching First Take on ESPN and Laffy at the same time. I'll take what I can get, brother. Malcolm, Laffy, how far are you from Altoona? I'm pretty far, man. Played a team the last couple summers from there. Minor league baseball's underrated. Cheap beer, exactly. Plenty to do for the kids. Yeah. They got like a full-out kids playground in there, like a sick one. They've got the speed pitch thing that, the adults can do and the kids can do. I even had my wife, I even bought some tickets for her to do it. I had a blast. Really did. got home at a reasonable hour. Yeah. Plus, if you're at a Phillies game with the kids, you don't really get to watch the game anyway. So what does it matter? Or what does it matter? But yeah, man. Let's get into it. Devin says Houston looks like major chalk. Well, you know, there's a couple teams that are going to be pretty popular today. Houston going up against JP Sears in that athletic stadium is definitely going to garner some attention. There's no doubt about that, right? Like you can pull up the top pitchers tool here. I already have everything up. They'll update throughout the day, as you guys already know, particularly those of you who are premium users, to all of the tools that we have, you know, the suite of tools that we have over at Stokastic. But you look at totals, there it is. Houston's got the highest total on the slate. You've got Washington at 5-3 against Carson Palmquist, Dodgers at 5-2 against Cease. But outside of that Houston team, I don't know if anyone jumps off the page. Like, yeah, okay, Washington's going up against an inferior opponent, an inferior pitcher, but it's not at Coors Field. It's still in Washington. And it's, you know, it's still a middle of the road at best Washington offense. 70 degree temperatures, winds slightly blowing in. It's not super friendly hitting weather. It's not the best hitter's park in baseball. So it's like, yeah, they look good, but are they great? I don't know. I wouldn't look at Washington and be like, man, that is an elite team today that we should be targeting. Doesn't mean we're not going to get there, but they don't look awesome. Dylan Cease is still good going up against the Dodgers. Let me pull up the top stacks tool, see what the ownership's coming in at. I mean, Houston has to be the highest, right? No, it's Washington. I mean, by a hair, essentially right there. And then the Dodgers are actually third highest owned stack, despite Dylan Cease being on the mound, despite Dylan Cease being $8,400 today, coming off a gem against the same Dodgers team just 5 days ago. Not a huge fan of rostering him, knowing that, you know, 5 days ago, he went out there and mowed him down, you know, back-to-back spots against the same team, a good team, no less. I'd be lying if I said that didn't worry me a little bit. Yankees against Soriano. Can we talk about Jose Soriano for a second? I think we should just dive right into this. So even when Soriano gets wrecked, like he did against Boston, remember that Soriano-Giolito day game on 2 Thursdays or Wednesdays ago, where him and Giolito gave up like a combined 14 earned, 15 earned, something like that. The crazy thing about him, though, is while he can collapse at times, Soriano simply does not give up power at all. In the home run department, I should say. He has allowed zero. The last home run, get this. The last home run that Jose Soriano gave up was April 22nd against the Pittsburgh Pirates. April 22nd. Amazing. He gave up 2 against Cleveland on April 4th, but he has not allowed a single home run since April 22nd. That is almost 2 months now. 9 starts since he's allowed a home run. Now, this is the Yankees. This is the New York Yankees. So there's something to be said about that, right? And they do have a 5-run implied total here. I think they could still do some damage. It's pretty mild pitch weather, you know, 60s, mid 60s at Yankee Stadium. No winds blowing out, nothing crazy like that. But yeah, Yankees should be relatively popular, and for good reason. Soriano's a decent enough pitcher. He's coming off the best start of the season, arguably of his career, honestly. 7 1-run innings with 12 strikeouts. That's probably the best start of his career. At least I can't imagine he's had another 11 or 12 strikeout game, right? Be pretty shocked. But I don't know. I don't know, man. He doesn't give up home runs. And I don't want to read too far into that because you can still get clobbered without giving up home runs. It literally happened 2 starts ago in Boston. But against this Yankees team, you'd like to see some long balls there. Devin Sky, I think Soriano has the highest ground ball rating in the league for qualified pitchers. Yeah, it's either him or Palante. It's either him or Andre Palante. I'm not sure who else it would be. Right? Assuming Palante's qualified. Let's see. Ground ball. Yeah, Soriano's ahead of him now. It's these three. Yeah, Soriano, Palante, Framber, Valdez. Those two. But, yeah, just a boatload of ground balls. The fact that you get 67% ground balls and have an 8% home run to fly ball rate is actually pretty nuts. Should be much higher than that. Right? Because, you have less home run, you have less fly balls. 0.68 home runs per nine. Among qualified pitchers, not many have allowed fewer home runs than Jose Soriano. 0.34 home runs per nine. So he has allowed the fewest home runs per nine along with Chris Bubich this year. It's crazy. I don't want to sleep on this Yankees team. Don't get me wrong. Dan Rex, Laffy, long. Oh, this is great, man. This is why I love doing this show. I'm telling you. I tell you guys all the time. Long-term lurker on the Morbid Strategy Show. Why is it morbid? Why is it more? Did your phone autocorrect to morning? Okay, I was gonna say, like, I get into some wild shit from time to time, but I don't think I come in with a morbid mentality. DM'd you for the Sims a week ago today, then took down the Saturday morning turbo slate for $5K. Thanks, Laffy. Hell yeah, man. That's what I want to see. Dan, actually, did you DM me that yesterday? Or the day before? I think you did. Yeah, here it is. The Relay Though Turbo, 5K. 148.3. Congrats, dude. Love to see that. Makes me very happy. And as always, tell you guys, you want to get in, just hit me with a DM and I'll shoot you over a great promo code to get in week or a month, whichever one you want. A week or a month, whichever works better for you. The code is applicable to both. So hit me up, DM me, as Dan did. Be like, oh, Lappy, can I get in on the tools? I want to try the Sims out, the single lineup Sim. I want all these tools. I'd love to try it, especially with basketball winding down. Need to get an edge here. I'll say, yes, sir. I'll hit you up with the code. Got you covered. And I promise you, it won't waste your time. I'm not going to be like, take 6% off your next yearly annual or your annual subscription. No, it's good. And it's for a week or a month, whichever one you want to do. So hit me up. Get you in. We've been crushing lately. All right, so here's what I want to do. If we're looking, and I'm going to ask you guys right now, if we're looking at the highest owned pitchers or the pitchers with the highest top two pitcher probability within the top pitchers tool, I love this tool. It lays everything out for us perfectly. Allows us to get granular here, but to see everything for what it is. I know Logan Gilbert only threw 72 pitches last time out. Unless I see that he has a considerable pitch count with limitations today, I don't know how you don't want to go back to this guy. A couple of reasons. One, you're going up against a weakened Boston team that less than 24 hours ago traded away their best hitter in Rafael Devers, and a lefty, no less, right? So you've got no Rafael Devers. Boston now on their active roster with the removal of Devers, they have a 91 WRC plus against righties. That's bottom 3 in baseball. They have the second highest K rate against righties. The only higher K rate in baseball is the Colorado Rockies. So yeah, pretty significant stuff. The fact that you've got no Devers, you've got Gilbert returning to the best possible park. He's been utterly dominant at T-Mobile Park. You look at last year, you look at this year, 5 of his 6 starts before hitting the IL with that elbow injury were at T-Mobile Park. Dominant, dude, 38% K rate. So the only concern here is how many pitches do we get out of him? But I still think he's very much in play. Like if we think we could get 90 pitches from him, I definitely think it's doable. Definitely. I mean, what do we really need from him? I know he's $9,700, but Gilbert's legitimately he's a borderline elite pitcher. I mean, I'm leaning more towards elite than not elite for a guy like Logan Gilbert. He's really good, and Boston's not. And this park is great. And the Red Sox have a 3.4 run implied total today. Steven, thanks for cheering me up there, Laffy. Yeah, sorry, man. But it is, it's true. Look, again, it's baseball. Boston could just go wild today, but every indicator suggests that they shouldn't. Gilbert's going to be owned. He's negatively leveraged. Same with Clark Schmidt. But, I think if you're in single entry and smaller field stuff, I love that pairing. Even in large field, I think I'll probably have less pairings of Gilbert and Schmidt. I actually ran the Sims today for the perfect lineup video Josh and I do that comes out, Monday through Friday every afternoon. Appreciate if you guys check that out. I think you'll enjoy it. I ran it for a small contest, single entry, and I also ran it for large field. And in smaller stuff, we got a lot of Gilbert and Schmidt combined. In larger field stuff, we got less of them combined, but still a lot of both of them, right? So a lot of both of them, less of them combined. Larger field stuff, we were getting more Pepio, more Dylan Cease, more, this is gross, but more Giolito against Seattle, right? More Jake Irvin, 8,100. I don't love that price point for a guy with, what does he have? Like a 21% K rate or whatever it may be. Not my favorite, but still viable. 8,100. Does he have a 15% K? Is that right? Jeez. I didn't know his K rate was that low this year. That stinks, man. Oof. Man, listen, I'm not typically one to say that I would be opposed to getting overweight on a pitcher against the Rockies, but this is one of those spots where I do not feel good about this at all. Feels like there are a lot of red flags here. I mean, $8,100. Yeah, he has 54 strikeouts and 83 and a third innings pitched. That's a little troublesome. And I love playing any pitcher that can, get the ball over the plate against this Rockies team. But my God. Jake Irvin, 15% strikeout rate on the season, 5.38 xERA as well, 4.69 xFIP. I'd say there are some glaring weaknesses in this spot. 7% swinging strike rate. My God. Okay. 12.9% barrel rate for Jake Irvin. Hey, this guy stinks. Fish, you're right. Rockies have been getting to some decent pitchers lately. They actually have. Now, I don't think that's going to happen every time. It's not. I know it's not. But even, like the Bryce Elder spot, he was coming off a couple of great games, and they went out and beat him up. Jeff Coley, do we DM you on X? Yeah, DM me on X. They're open. Or DM me on Instagram if you want. Whatever's easier for you. Preferably X because I'm on there more, and I don't really use Instagram often, but I'll see it either way. Jake, Irvin had 9 Ks against Colorado earlier this year. Understood. Colorado also looks a little different than we've previously seen them. Not quite as bad right now. You know why? Because teams can't be that bad for that long across a 162-game season. There's going to be ebbs and flows. There's no doubt. But no, I think we'll just naturally get to a decent amount of Irvin. It wouldn't surprise me at all. I think it's unavoidable, but I don't love it. I really don't. But you know what? I don't love Dylan Cease against the Dodgers either, and we're probably going to get to him. I think Gilbert and Schmidt look the best. If I'm eyeballing this, Gilbert and Schmidt look the best. Even Pepio. Baltimore's been better lately. I think they've won I think their last 20, they're 16-6 or something, or 14-6 or something like that. So they're definitely looking better than they were early in the season. Roger, Cease mowed down the Dodgers last week. Do you think he can do it again? Well, that's what I had mentioned earlier, Roger, right? You've got a guy in Cease who had 11 or 12 Ks despite 5 walks last time out against the Dodgers. Can he do it again? I mean, sure, but I also don't love the idea that he's going up against them in back-to-back starts, 5 days separated, and he's coming off a great start against a really good offense in a pretty homer-friendly park as well. So, I think Cease is in play because he's 8,400 and he's got a 30% strikeout rate. That would be my honest answer to you, Roger. I'm not going to say, he won't do it again or he will do it again, because it's not really how baseball works. Like, if Cease went out and mowed him down 5 straight starts and then 5 straight starts following that, he got blown up, you go, oh, that's baseball. But he has a 30% strikeout rate. 21% K minus BB rate this year. Like, there's a lot of good things for Dylan Cease. Also, you could argue he's been one of the more unlucky pitchers in the league as well. In some metrics, at least. Like, he's got a 310 FIP, a 321 xFIP. So 30% K rate. The guy's stuff is really good. But it worries me a little bit for sure. Who doesn't though? That's a great question for you guys. Let's dig in. Who's not worrisome on this slate? Logan Gilbert has a pitch count. He's still probably my favorite pitcher here. Him or Clark Schmidt. I just think Boston without Devers, now going to face Seattle, in Seattle, there's a lot that looks good for him here. Also, this is a Boston team that just played in Boston yesterday. I know it was a day game, but still, now you're traveling out to Seattle, literally across the country. Teams do this, sure, but 3.4 run implied to Gilbert looks good. The question there is, how many pitches can he throw? If he's limited to 75 pitches, that's going to suck at 9,700. I'm hoping he can work up to around 90, assuming he's in good shape. Clark Schmidt. Angels still have some pop. They have a lot of strikeouts, but they have some pop. Yankee Stadium isn't T-Mobile Park. But I think those two guys are the safest. It bears out in the ownership, though. Right? No one else is getting even close to the ownership they're getting. So then we go, all right, so what do we work down to after that? Dylan Cease against the Dodgers. Positively leveraged, but that's a bit of a scary spot. Dodgers have a 5.2 run implied total. Ryan Pepiot against Baltimore. Yeah, Pepiot's good. He's certainly not great, though. This is not a great park for pitchers, and we know that. The weather isn't terrible here. Not like it's something, but still 84 degrees, winds blowing out, and some potential weather concerns. We may have rain. This game may get delayed. It may get, you may have an in-game delay. That would suck. So, all right, what do we have outside of that? You've got Lance McCullers. This guy has been red hot or ice cold. Last time out, coughed up 4 runs to the White Sox, and now you have to pitch in that athletics park that has been brutal for opposing pitchers. 82 degrees, winds blowing out to left field at 9 miles per hour. Like, if you take a look at totals, game totals on this slate, there is one game with a higher total than 9. It is Astros Athletics with a 10-run over-under. And yeah, McCullers and the Astros are minus 164 favorites, but still pretty nasty total, 4.8. Approaching 5 for the Athletics against McCullers, who's been all over the map. And then you've got Giolito. Great park, but it's Lucas Giolito. The strikeout stuff has been way down. And he's $7,300. Jake Irvin, I just talked about all of that. For those of you guys that jumped in late, rewind 5 minutes. You'll hear us discussing it. Sandy Alcantara, 4.8 total for Philly. Philly's clearly gotten back on track. Does that mean game over game it's going to be the case? No, but I mean, I don't love Sandy. I like the leverage there. I like the fact that he has 7% leverage. That's literally the only thing I like about him. I guess you could throw his price point in there, and he's coming off his best start of the season. Finally showed some life against Pittsburgh last time out. I think you could get to a little bit of him. I'm not paying $9K for Mick Abel. No way. No way. Eplin's 7,800. Soriano, I don't want to go there. And then none of this trio at the bottom. You're not going to them. So let's look at our exposures and see what we can get. This I ran with a 5,000 field in the contest generator, but then I ran it 10% the first. Usually run 25 the first, but there's a lot of good smaller contests, smaller payout, like smaller stakes, large field stuff. So let's see. Pitcher exposures. Who do we have? Okay, Clark Schmidt, 32% Jake Irvin. That scares me. But sometimes I'm willing to put some faith in the tools. I may tamp that down a bit. Logan Gilbert, 25%. Cease, 22. Pepio, 22. Giolito, 17. McCullers at 10%. And Sandy Alcantara at 7%. None of these other guys we're really getting to. Who's our biggest fade? Wow. So we're still getting to a lot of 25% Gilbert, but way less than the field. Way less than the field. And our most positively leveraged spots would be Jake Irvin and Clark Schmidt. All right. Again, those things change throughout the day. You guys know that. Devin, Abel has some cracks in the armor. It's rough. He got pretty lucky in his first start versus Toronto. You know, he was also good in his first start against Toronto. I watched that start. He was good, but it's your first start. A lot of times, you know, with guys who have okay stuff, they come out there first start, look great. And then you get a little bit more on these guys and they just come back down to earth in general, right? That first start was against his first start though. Maybe you're talking about the second one against Toronto where he got a little, his first start was against Pittsburgh and he was dominant. He struck out 9 batters. He was fantastic in that game. They won 1-0. Then against Toronto, yeah, but 2 strikeouts. And then 3 strikeouts last time out. Only 3 runs. It's not like he's been bad. He hasn't. But paying $9K for a guy in this spot, he's okay, but I wouldn't say you have the pedigree there to be paying $9K. And Miami isn't really good. But there's just, I think $9K is a little bit of a reach here for sure. You want to get there, go for it. I personally think it's a reach. So I'm not sure how much of that I want at $9K. But you know what? If nothing else, the Miami Marlins are not a good baseball team. This is a good park. You know, so all of that is fine. But like the Marlins also don't really strike out at a high clip. They have what? Bottom 5 in strikeouts this year. They've always kind of been that way for a while now. So they're not good, but they also don't strike out. And Mick Abel's got 5 strikeouts over his last 9 1/3 innings. I'd probably look to get elsewhere there. And it appears that the Sims would suggest the same. Right? 2% exposure there. 7.5% field ownership. What about here in the top pitchers tool? 11% top 2 pitcher isn't terrible, but it's not great when you just consider the fact that he's 9K. Like from a value perspective, no pitcher has a worse value score than Mick Abel today. And I don't love that. Who knows? Maybe he'll go out and dominate and we'll revisit this conversation. Perfectly willing to do that. I'd be okay with that, but I think you got to kind of tread a little bit carefully here, no? We'll see. Laffy, did you talk about Kasperias? Is it Kasperias or Kasperias? I want to say Kasperias. What is it? Kasperias? Nah, it's got to. You guys tell me. Someone phonetically spell this one out for me. Someone help me out there. Yeah, how cool is that, though, that Ohtani, who mentioned that? Mark, that Ohtani is the opener today? Pretty cool, right? How long does he go? This is exciting. How long do we think he goes? Let's see. So 43 innings, three innings. He went 44 pitches over his last simulated game. He's going to be the opener. What do we say? I'd say possibly 2 innings, depending how smooth the first one goes. Pretty cool. Michael said Kasperias. Yeah. Okay. That's what I thought. Kasperias, right? Yeah. Ben Kasperias. I don't know. I mean, we can look, but he's a long reliever. Ohtani, does he go 1 inning, 2 innings? Highly unlikely that you see him go like 3 or something like that. I don't see how that would be the case, right? Kasperias threw 54 pitches last time out. The issue I have here is you're not getting him at a super cheap price. He's $6K. He's a righty against the Padres team that strikes out sub 18% against right-handed pitching, which is always the spot I kind of hate to deal with. I hate dealing with those type of things. You know, and he's what? He's made 22 appearances this year, 2 starts, 44 innings, 26% K rate, which is nice. But what do you get, like 4 innings from him probably at $6K against a team that strikes out at a really low clip? Everything would suggest that he's good, but these pitchers can look a whole lot different once they get out there and start throwing a significant amount of innings. But he threw 4 innings last time out. He had 2 Ks. It's just funny how much a reliever can look like when he's operating out of a long relief role where you have to go significantly more innings than the 1 or 2 innings you'd pitch, you know, in just a steady mid-inning relief role. I can't imagine he's going to be a great pitching option today. I'd rather play him over like a JP Sears, though, or a Carson Palmquist, I think. But it doesn't mean he looks great at all. At all. Anyway, what do you say we take a look at some bats here? This should be a fun slate for bats because I have not looked at our stack exposure yet. I don't know how much Houston we're going to get. I really don't. If you talk about Houston, they're far and away the best on paper stack, right? But that doesn't always mean anything. You have to factor in all of these other variables. What's the value score? What's the ownership look like? Where's the leverage? You know, what other pitchers are we getting to? But Houston has a 17.6% top stack probability in the top pitchers tool. Right? So, I don't know. Let's take a look. Let's take a look. Wasn't that Kasperitis, though? Rip and Sippin, he said you're pronouncing it like the NHL player. Wasn't it Kasperitis? What was it? Anyway, Jeff, are your DMs working? I can DM others, but not. There's no reason you shouldn't be able to DM me. They're working. Yep. It shows that you just followed me too, Jeff. My DMs are open. Always open. Well, you can tell me let me know what it says. But they should be working. Yeah. Someone else try and DM me. They were working this morning. I was looking at them. All right, let's go to stacks. And of course, guys, I mentioned, if you want to jump in, just shoot me a DM. It's all you have to do. I did check spam, Aaron. It was littered the other day. I found yours. I found your DM in there. I found a ton of DMs that I had to sift through. but I've squared that away. You want to jump in, just DM me on Twitter. My handle's right there, Alafia_D, LOUGHY_D. Join the team, baby. We had an awesome group of winners from last week that I wanted to shout out to because, a lot of times I'll show the 50Ks, the 100Ks, the 10Ks, but like our boy Elway's Army took down the mini max for 1,500. We have the Stokastic avatars in these smaller contests, smaller entry stakes contests, winning all the time. Third place in the solo shot. First place, second out of 30,000 people. And we get so many of these. I want to showcase them more because you got our boy Ugly 8 game that took down the 20K a day after DMing me for the Sims. Commish 50K. But here's another one, Minimax D, $500, first place in the Minimax. Second day using the Sims, right? And you look at these are just from the last couple of weeks. Just had some ridiculous winners, some monsters that want to showcase, but also some great wins as well in some of these smaller contests where, the Sims dominate for them because not a lot of people are using Sims in single entry stuff, mini max stuff. And I bet a lot of you guys have gone straight to the link in the description and signed up with one of our DFS partners. You'll see it down there. Follow those 4 steps. You'll get it for free a whole month. MLB Core Sims. The whole month, any sport you want. Sign up for 5 of these books. Deposit the minimum $5 or $10 as long as you click claim offer and follow these 4 steps. And you get 5 months of MLB Sims Core, or a month of MLB, a month of MMA, a month of NASCAR, a month of PGA, all of that, however you want to do it. So either DM me, I'll get you a code, get you in at a great price for a week or a month, or take advantage of this. No excuse not to check them out though, when there's many ways to get in and use these tools for sure. All right, let's take a look at our stacks. Who do we have? 5-man stack exposure. The most of is, wow, Houston. Holy shit. Woo! That is a lot of Houston. Holy shit. And a lot of Washington. Unbelievable. I mean, look, do you want to stick with this or not? If you stick with Houston today, you're saying the screen hasn't transitioned? Should have. Hold on. Oh, my fault, guys. Hold on. My fault. Good call. Here you go. Okay, thank you. Look at that. That's a lot of Houston. Woo! 43% of 5-man. I mean, look, if we go into lineups here in the Sims tool and you go to exposure caps, this is where you can see your 3, 4, and 5-man. So total exposures across all of these. How much? What do we have? 70%, 67% Houston. Jeez. All right. So I'm going to tell you guys right now, there's 2 ways to do this. You can limit exposures here. You'd be like, maybe I only want 40%, 30% Houston, or you ride it out. You go, you know what? I'm okay with it. I'm okay with if Houston goes off, I have a real shot to win. Like I have a real shot because I am way over the field on Houston stacks. You can play it as many ways as you want. In this case, I'll be honest with you. I'm oftentimes more inclined to roll with it. It doesn't mean it's going to look like this when I run my lineups closer to lock either. You know, it's very possible that, by the way, 6:40 Eastern lock today. 6:40 Eastern, not 7:05, 7:10. So make sure to get those lineups in. Pay attention to that. But I'm more inclined to just roll with it. You got Washington. We got a lot of them. And then not really much else of these other teams. With that in mind, how many of these... Remember I said to you guys at the beginning of the show and right now before we started looking at them, I was like, I don't really know if any of these other teams are going to pop because they're so... It's like Boston against Gilbert, LA against Schmidt, Rockies against Irvin. Say what you want about Irvin, but Rockies aren't a great stack there. Seattle against Giolito in a pretty crappy park. Miami against Mick Abel. Again, the problem with Mick Abel is that he's 9K, not that he has a tough matchup and we like Miami. I don't love San Diego. Kasparius is good. Ohtani might throw 2 innings. That's not great. I thought we'd have a little more Eflin or Tampa against Eflin. Do we have any Tampa? Not really. Athletics against McCullers, I think, is perfectly fine, but we're not getting a ton of them. I think some of this is going to come down to price point for sure. Like Houston's the highest value scorer team on the slate with Washington, and they have the 2 highest top stack scores. So, top stack probability. So what that means, unfortunately, is that they're going to look really good. I shouldn't even say unfortunately, but it's just, they're going to pop. Like the lowest stack score the lowest value score is the Dodgers against Cease. That's tough to get to. Boston against Gilbert, they have a low value score. Yankees against Soriano, who doesn't get, I mean, all of this kind of lends to us getting a lot of these top 2 teams. So before we go, this is what I actually want to do for you guys. I think this is more helpful than just looking at individual exposures. Hold on, the K-Town's finest. How chalky would a Houston Athletics stack with Gilbert and Schmidt be? Thoughts on, it's going to be chalky, but there's ways to do it. Maybe you go bottom of the order stacks. I don't know. I'm not giving you recommendations here, but just thoughts off the top of my head. All right, like maybe you run with some like bottom of the order wraparound stacks or something like a 7, 8, 9, 1, 2. I don't know. Instead of just going with all the chalkiest bats. K-Mod, they should, is that MOD or MCD? MCD? Yeah. They should have priced them higher. This is basically Coors. Yeah, they should have. I know. I'm telling you guys, we saw this happen with the Rockies all season long, and finally you're starting to see some adjustment from DraftKings, which is funny because now the Rockies are finally starting to hit, so it should be reversed. But they've done the same thing. Like they have not properly adjusted to the Athletics park either. Chris, Jose Soriano hasn't allowed a home run all year. Only starting pitcher that hasn't. That's not true. He's allowed 3 home runs, but he hasn't allowed a home run since April 22nd. And he's allowed the fewest home runs and the fewest home runs per 9 of any pitcher, tied with Chris Bubich. We went over this earlier, but he has allowed a home run. He's allowed 3. He's allowed none over the last, let's say, around 2 calendar months. But yeah. All right, so let's do this. This, I think, is super helpful. Whether you guys are Sims users, you should be. You should be. But if you're not, I'll always have this free content here for you 5 days a week. Always. Because I enjoy doing this show, and I hope whether you're using the tools or not, I hope it helps you in some form or fashion. And I know for plenty of you it has, because I appreciate all the comments you leave on this video, for those of you that watch after the fact. But let's look at the actual lineups. So what are the pairings we're getting here? These are the highest simmed ROI lineups, 10% to first. I ran a contest generator in a 5,000 pool, which means we want it to mirror what the field is going to look like, what the lineups are actually going to look like. Schmidt and Jake Irvin with a 5-2 Washington Houston. Let's see what the highest ownership sum is of all of the lineups generated, and then what the highest or what the ownership sum is of the teams that we're getting the most of, that look the best for us. So the highest is 270. There's a ton of teams. So, all right, if you're trying to get away from the chalkiest ones, here's the chalkiest team of all 5,000 lineups that we have, right? The chalkiest team we have is Gilbert and Schmidt with Yannier Diaz, Christian Walker, Mauricio Dubon, Ahmed Rosario, Jeremy Pena, Shohei Ohtani, Jose Altuve, and Alex Call. So that is one way where actually it still has a simulated ROI that's positive, right? But it's not, you're not going to get that. That's not going to be in your top 150, right? That's not going to be in your top 150. So it's still positive. It's not the worst thing ever, but it's super chalky. The second chalkiest, Gilbert and Schmidt with a 5-2 Houston, Washington. Again, If you guys weren't watching at the beginning of the show, the one thing I mentioned is earlier when I was running the Sims for the perfect lineup video that Josh and I do, that 5-6 minute bite-sized video that comes out every afternoon for you guys. Hopefully you watch. Leave a comment, leave some feedback. Appreciate it. I ran it for a single entry at like 500 instead of 5,000 in the contest generator, and I got a lot of Logan Gilbert and Clark Schmidt because that's different than running it at 5,000, right? That's a lot different. So keep that in mind. Who said that? Asan said FanDuel has Spence starting, not Spears. It's TBD in the official MLB app, but still, like if you go to the MLB, if you go and look at the odds, Houston still has a total that's sitting around like 6. So, that's all we need. But look, there you go. Now, the highest simulated ROI lineups don't have a 165 ownership sum. It's Schmidt and Irvin with a 5-2 Washington, Houston. Here's a 2-2-2, our second highest sim. Houston, Washington, Yankees with Schmidt and Cease. Let's see what okay, let's find the first lineup that has Schmidt and Gilbert. Let's find the first one that has both of them. Here you go. Logan Gilbert, Clark Schmidt. Still chalky, but it's like what, our 15th best simulated ROI team. 5-2 Washington, Houston, with Diaz, Bell, Altuve, Rosario, Abrams, Ohtani, Call, and Jacob Young. So there you go. That would be right there your best lineup from a simmed ROI perspective that's chalky but not too chalky, that has Gilbert and Schmidt. Here's another one. 5-2 Washington, Houston. I wonder if we're just not going to get a lot of 5-2 Houston Washingtons with that pairing. That would probably make sense. Here's a San Diego 5-2. San Diego, Houston 5-2. So that's my guess. I haven't scrolled through everything. Here's a Houston 4-2 with Seattle. Gilbert, Clark, Schmidt. All right. Washington, though, again. So that's what you're seeing. You're going to get a lot of these Giolitos in those spots. I think Pepio, Dylan Cease, Jake Irvin. That's pretty much what we're getting a lot of right now. So, yeah. And, of course, let's take a look, see if we've got any top home run options for today over at OddsShopper. That tool, Portfolio EV tool, just super, super incredible top-down betting tool that we have. For those of you who haven't tried it, try it. Betting and DFS go hand in hand. We have the parlay generator that spits out as many parlays you want for you in seconds. Plus EV parlays, you can add them straight into your bet slip. Beautiful stuff. The home runs have crushed, particularly on DraftKings and BetMGM within these tools. Here you go. Jazz Chisholm plus 850. Look, going up against the guy that doesn't give up a lot of power, but this is still, these are not right. If you're looking at all of these other books and we've got the true odds at plus 756, there's still an edge there on Jazz, even if it's not the best spot. Trevor Story. So a lot of these are showing up in tough parks or tough matchups. Trent Grisham, Trevor Story, all of those on DraftKings. Josh Love plus 540. Will Smith at 5-1 on BetMGM and ESPN. Let me go into our top bets tool where I've created a bunch of portfolios. See if anything stands out for us here. I always like to see if we have some good bets that you guys can hammer before we get out of here. Why the hell not? And of course, if you're ever interested, do yourself a favor. The link is in the description. Your first week of this is free. If you've been sidelined on the fence being like, you know what, I really should start getting some bets in every day. What's it going to hurt? We have a mass entry tool. You can enter up to 20 bets on any book at one shot. Instantly add it into your bet slip. Parlay generator throws plus EV parlays together for you. Like there's no downside to any of this. It takes no time and you can get the alerts on push notifications sent directly to your phone. Try it out for a week, guys. You're DFS players. You're here. You want to make money. Make money in a multitude of ways. And one of the ways to do it is through this. So like I said, your first week, you don't have to pay a cent for it. It's in the description. Benedict Mathurin under 2.5 boards here for game 5 tonight on Caesars. Lock that one in. Plus 110. If I were to pull up this other portfolio with the snipe session, this is the one I use for my betting show. Anything good? All right. Jaron Duran, Fanatics. Fanatics is super soft, by the way, for MLB. Plus 740 here. Every other book, look at that. Every other book, this is going to move quickly. I know it's a bad park. I know it's a tough matchup. This is going to move quickly. I can almost guarantee it. There's not a single book that is even remotely close to these odds on Fanatics right now. This is what happens when you shop the market, identify the true odds in every individual market within, or every bet within that market. And then look, 8% EV here. That's going to move. You can track it too, right? Like if you were to go here and then track the bet, you can go in to the My Bets tab and track your closing line value percentage on every one of these. Jazz Chisholm, there's another good one on DraftKings. Pluck that one, guys, if you haven't yet. Plus 850. Look at this. FanDuel, plus 630. All of these other books, way different. Not even remotely close. Grab that Chisholm one. I don't care if it's a tough matchup. You got to do it. Value is value. Grab it when it presents itself. Mookie Betts on Fanatics against Dylan Cease. Gavin Sheets on Fanatics. Damn, dude. Fanatics is just popping right now with home run bets. Brandon Lau, another home run spot, plus 475 against Zach Eflin. Grab those. Check the tool out for yourself. Start spamming these bets, honestly. That's the way to do it. Get the volume down. WNBA, NBA still going, MLB, make it happen. No, I know what you were talking about, dude. What I'm just saying is we don't know yet. So I'm waiting on the pitcher there. Right now we have Sears. It looked like that was supposed to be him. We'll see. It might change to Spence. Either way, Houston's probably going to look quite good regardless. Hey, I appreciate you guys. As always, I'll check the DMs. Anyone who wants to jump in, do that. Or sign up with the link down there to get the Sims tools for free for a month with any of our sportsbook partners. Just make a minimum deposit using that link. But yeah, happy to get you in at a discount. Want you to check these tools out. Join the Discord. Make some money with us. Let's have some fun. Happy Monday, guys. 6:40 start. I'll see you back here same time as always tomorrow. Big Tuesday slate, and then we'll head into we'll head into the goose that laid the golden egg for us here on this show within the tools. Wednesday and Thursday for these early slates. I hope we have them. I haven't even looked. I hope we've got them this week. If not, I'll be sad. We'll be here one way or another. Anyway, have a great rest of the day, guys. We'll see you soon. See you tomorrow. Let's win some money. Let's see those stochastic avatars up top tonight. Peace.